الحمد لله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Why are you so shy? Well, you don't know? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, the same as you answered me, so I'm going to say, why are you so shy? Am I telling you something bad?
No.
You don't know whether I'm saying something bad?
No, you're not.
I'm not. So I'm saying something good. So you should answer me the same way, right? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, you know what? Because you were so good in answering me, don't show this to anybody. Are you jealous? Or somebody said what?
You all are saying
No. Did you say what?
yeah.
You are banned from this for 4 weeks. Another one for 8 weeks. Say another one. Huh? You can go with your mom? Yes. 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 But make sure she doesn't go by herself to, okay? It's yours, right? Okay. By the way, those who are here for the first time, we give coupons to go and eat halal chicken. Anyway, I have an idea. Now, I'll give you a coupon if you tell me yes or no. Or I will remove the 8 weeks ban. I was thinking that today to change the landscape a little bit, instead of having this session indoors, how about we move it outdoors today? No, I don't think so. It's so nice outside. It's not?
Someone's gonna fly away.
Are you sure? Okay. After smiling a lot, after allowing actually what's inside to come outside in the form of a smile, I'm sure that if you are living on the same planet, in the same country, having the same feelings that all human beings should have, you were, like me, devastated last week to hear the news that no family would like to hear. You probably heard what happened to a newcomer family that lost 7 children. And just coming to think about it, even the wisest and those who really are able to control their emotions, they kept asking why. Why? Allah is Ar-Rahman, Allah is Ar-Rahim, and I kept thinking, not a justification. Allah does not need justification. Let me repeat. In whatever God decides to do, He does not need to justify to us who are created by Him to tell us why certain things happen the way they do. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
He doesn't need to. But we have the right to feel and think and ask questions. Even Ibrahim, the prophet Ibrahim, said, Ya Allah, let me see you. Musa said, Ya Allah, I would like to see you. Allah said to Musa, but Musa, you cannot, you don't have the eyes, the ability to be able to see me. You can't. Because to see me, you need something more than what I created for you. You can't. But Musa said, as if to say in today's language, try me. He said, okay, Musa, I'm going to show you something. Since you cannot look at me, look at this mountain. I will just reveal myself to the mountain, and look what will happen to the mountain. And God did, and the mountain, imagine a mountain, we're not saying a hill, a mountain crumbled into dust. Musa fell unconscious. Ibrahim, alayhi salam, said, oh God, you said that after people die, after animals die, after everything dies, you bring them back to life. How do you do that? Said Ibrahim, don't you have faith in me? Look at this conversation. For people who tell everyone who asks a question, just a question from us, how dare you? God himself did not say, how dare you? God started a conversation. So this is the first answer to those who stop people from asking, that God does not stop anyone from asking. God says, ask. As long as your purpose is to get to know more and to know better. Ask. But don't ask just to show that you are smart and that you are getting nowhere. You're just asking because there are, by the way, professional debaters. You know a debater? You know what's a debater? Someone who's professional. Put him on any side of a debate and she can win or he can win because they are professional. They know how to get themselves around. God does not want that. God is saying, as long as you are seeking the truth, ask me. Or ask anyone who may help you to find the answer. So Musa asked the question, Ibrahim asked the question, God, how do you bring people, animals, life back? Okay, so God told them, I'm going to show you how. I'm going to be honest with you. You know, we hear about mass murders. We hear about mass killings. We hear about disasters. You know, we heard the tsunami. We hear about earthquakes. We hear about so many things. But this week, to hear two things together in 1 week was too much. So we heard about the family of 7, and we heard about 9 young people being sentenced to death. I'm not going to get into any pros, cons, what, this, if, but to see 9 young people, 7 children live life like this, I'm going to make a confession. With all the faith I try to, you know, tell myself I possess, it was overwhelming. I kept asking myself, why? But then, subhanallah, and by the way, it's an aside that the title today is, okay, as you read it, or maybe you not read it, okay. Anyone who knows the title? What does it entail? to be a Muslim. Meaning, when I say I'm a Muslim, oh yeah? So, what does it entail? I know if I say I'm a Canadian, that Canadian citizenship entails certain privileges, certain rights, certain responsibilities. You know, we know what it entails. What does it mean when I say I'm a Muslim? And by the way, we may speak from now until 3 months from now. But today, I don't know how far I will get in trying to share with you what I felt, and I would like to hear from you what you felt. But the thing is, I was helped. I mean, I helped myself by remembering 2 of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I said to myself, how inefficient we have been in not knowing the 99 names of God. I mean, we've memorized them, we have put them in nasheeds, and we have repeated them, we have listened to them. Huwa Allahu alladhi la ilaha illa huwa al-malik. You know, all of that, we have done it, we have memorized it, we have, but then how much, Sister Sadi, what does Al-Qayyum mean? I'm not putting you on the spot, don't answer me. If you want, you can.
Al-Qayyum means someone who can stable, kind of like Qaim.
You see, I should have known better. I shouldn't have asked her because I know that she will know the answer. Okay, that's right. But how many people know the meanings, not the meanings only, but what does it entail to have 99 attributes? Why does God want us to know 99 attributes about Him? And many of those attributes come in what seemingly looks to us as opposite pairs.
Al-Hayyul Qayyum,
Al-Khafid al-Rafi',
As-Sami'ul Basir,
Al-Mubdi' al-Mu'eed,
Al-Zahirul Batin,
Al-Zahir al-Batin, Al-Muhyi al-Mumeet.
Al-Hayyul Qayyum, Al-Wajidul Al-Majidu, the both words.
Okay, can you ask her to continue from now on? I mean, I shouldn't ask her. Yes.
I said to myself,
Oh,
not to do anything.
okay, you know better. Okay. And the 2 names that I got help from, attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, are 2 that I just mentioned now. And these are Al-Mubdi' al-Mu'eed. Al-Mubdi' means the originator. Al-Mu'eed is the someone who gives me one word for it, maybe? Resets, brings back, repeats. Okay, that's Al-Mu'eed. And what it really means is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings things out of nothing, like Adam, and can let things start all over again. You see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes an exit to all of us. He willed that all those 7 children, all those 9 young people would leave at the same time. There are stories we know, 2 people that are so close to each other, they just pass at the same time. These 7 children, these 9 people, they left at the same time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may promise their mother May Allah give shifa to the father, to have a new beginning in this life. But the children are all waiting for them, because the promise from Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is that they will be waiting in our final abode, having a place for them that they can look forward to with all those children. And believe me, that promise is as real as I can see us and you can see me. Now it is hard, and it is for the people who stay behind. Let me tell all the young people especially, that those 7 children now are in their final place of refuge. They came as refugees to Canada, but they have gone to another refuge, their final abode, and now they are secure and happy. I know that. I know that. They are actually looking at their parents, say, when are they going to experience what we experience? They just exited. I know the exit itself looks to us extremely painful. But let me say in a discreet fashion that anyone among us remember the time we were in our parents, in our mother's womb? Anyone remembers that? Do you remember? We don't. The place was very tight. The place was very tight. And the same thing, as we go through a narrow passage from one narrow existence to this is, by the way, we can live in palaces, but this is restricted for us. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in describing Jannah, gave the description of the final abode as a place of infinite openness. No more restrictions anymore. That's it. And that's why people say, oh, you described that there's a tree that you spent 70 years ago. These descriptions are not to be understood literally in this life's understanding. You can't. But it is just used, the language is used to describe what is beyond. And what is beyond, as the Prophet said, no eyes ever seen, no ears ever heard. You cannot even come to think about experiencing them. You can't, you just can't. This is Jannah, okay? So now those kids, those young people are looking at us and say, it's okay, get over it. Because so many terrible things happen in this life. And we're seeing so many terrible things. We hear about them. We see them. Horrible things are happening. Especially now the frequency is becoming more. More horrible things are happening. And our children are going to witness much more than we did. Not that I want you to, no. I want you to just feel secure and happy because God is taking care of us. And that's what faith is all about. Okay? When you say, Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel, wa ufawwidu amri ila Allah, I just give the responsibility to look after me in full to God. He takes care of me. And then live your life. Enjoy your life. So I say that they are happy. We are still having the emotions of this life, so we really are feeling terrible. We don't know when we will get over it. But once we do, we have to continue life as we have known. So this is, anyone would like to say something related to this or anything else? Anyone? Nobody? Nobody? Okay.
That things really hurt, of course, but the main, what we got from this all conversation, that we have to have a faith that Allah is with us. And all the hardships come and they go away and they make you more strong. with the faith of this, that because Surah Kaf have all the lesson in this, that Allah is the best who knows the best what's
Okay.
happening.
What about people who really ask, why me?
Right? Yeah, that's another question. I think
Can somebody answer this question? Because I would like to put myself in the shoes of that mother, that father, and then say, why us? Why? Yes.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what's best for them, and He also knows how resilient they can be. So it's okay that that happened because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what's best for them. Maybe if their kids were still alive now, they would not listen to them later on. So it's it's a test, and inshallah they pass that test, and then
Can I be a little bit skeptical, a little bit questioning this logic, just for us to talk? Okay, God knows best for them, I believe that, okay? But at the moment it is happening, how many people would say that God knows best, it's okay, take our children away? Do you think they
because thing is, at the time they're not gonna look at that. They're gonna see how they're taking from that. They're gonna look at their emotions more, but not look at what Allah Subhanahu is doing. Maybe if they take a step back and then see how it's gonna turn out, inshallah it's gonna be for the best.
That's too idealistic.
yeah.
I'm not trying to question you. I believe the same way you do. But I would like us to be realistic, because the majority of people may not believe in what we believe in. Can someone help me? I need somebody to help by talking about this. Yes.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promises that with every hardship there is ease in Surah Al-Ashraf.
Yes. So God promised us, فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا.
Twice.
And by the way it is said, repeated every time something is repeated twice in the Quran, it means no doubt. No doubt. And there are many places where things are repeated, one after the other. Here it says, with every hardship there is ease. With every hardship there is ease. God is assuring us. Okay? And we know how much difficulty individuals and communities and humanity went through, and then we stood up again and we continued. Okay? So I would say, every person has a different way of reaction. They react to things differently. And in the end, that's what faith is all about. And we ask the Almighty to make it easy on us. That's all. That's all. Okay. Now, let me talk about the subject matter we wanted to talk about, and we only have 15 minutes anyway. Whenever I go to visit a church, to visit university class, college, high school, public school, and talk about Islam, I usually start by asking them, when the word Islam or Muslim flashes in front of you, what do you think? What comes to your mind? But that I ask of people who are not Muslim. What flashes in your mind when you hear the word Islam or Muslim? And I'll tell you what
they
invariably say, okay? But I would like to ask the same question of Muslims. Now, I would like to ask, when you know that you are a Muslim, when you hear Islam, Muslim, what do you think? What does it mean that you are a Muslim? What does it mean? And don't tell me an ideal, I'm not saying, because you said idealistic, it's a different story altogether. But please don't give me an ideal response. What comes to your mind? You know what comes to my mind now? The images I saw on television. People killing each other. You know, people taking to the streets and burning tires. People honestly doing things that can be anything but the definitions I read in the Quran and the sayings of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam defined in his farewell speech. He said, the Muslim is he or she who other people feel secure in his or her presence. Wallahi, the last thing now that people think about is that when they know that a Muslim moved into their neighborhood, they feel depressed. They don't want a Muslim to move into their neighborhood. It used to be a time when, you know, people, you know, we have a Muslim. Mind you, I'm not generalizing. I know stories, okay, where people are delighted. And again, it's not only, you know, Muslims who are nice. There are many people. But when we combine, you know, nice character with Islam, what does it entail? Why is it? Why? What's so special? What should we start to do as Muslims to recapture what was taken away from us? You know, today, you want to talk politics, okay? And I know that I'm on camera, okay? And I know that people will listen to this. I know that there's no such thing. It is an oxymoron to put a Muslim politician together. You know what's an oxymoron? When you put two opposites together, you say, how could, you know, a Muslim and a politician? When we say Muslim parents who are raising their children according to the teachings of Islam, how many now there's no such thing, but I say it, Muslim countries are parents who really raise their children according to Islam? You know, there are stories which, if told in Canadian context, these parents will be taken to jail. I want to say it as it is. And the purpose of me starting this today is that I feel like we Muslims started to drive on a highway that used to be a two-lane highway with two lanes coming this way. Now it turned into one lane going, one lane coming, and now we're getting to go into a wooded area. It's not familiar to us, and all of a sudden there is a fork, and the GPS did not capture this, you know, it's not on GPS. It's a new construction to us. We're not familiar with this, and we don't know, shall we go this way or that way? And then we say, okay, let's try this way. We went this way and said, no, this doesn't look right. What shall we do? Shall we continue? If we continue, then for sure we may run into disaster. Did I say we may? We did already. We did already. It's very clear. It's very clear that already we are in a danger zone because we continued moving on a highway thinking that this is the Islamic highway. And by the way, the Islamic highway is the highway for all people. Everybody can drive on it. And I said it before, are Muslim drivers safe drivers? We proved that we are very bad drivers. Malish, it's okay, don't feel bad. The purpose is that we need to redefine our way. Let's go back to the fork. Or maybe go before the fork. Try to get a proper GPS. Where do we find a proper GPS?
Quran.
It's not here. We know where it is. We know where it is. We know where it is. You know, I tell you, this morning I was answering 4 questions from somebody in Halifax, and you know, the masjid received questions from a lady who said, how can you justify your prophet, she said, marrying a 9-year-old girl? Number 2 question was, is it true according to Surah number 5, verse 51, that Muslims cannot be friends with Jews and Christians? That was the second question. The third question was, is it true according to Surah number 4, verse number 34, that a man can beat up his wife? Number 4 question was, is it true that according to Surah number 65, which is Surah At-Talaq, divorce, okay, verse number 4, that a man can marry an infant girl, okay? And believe me, you know, I got my wife upset with me because I wasn't answering her questions. She was talking to me, and I was so involved in trying to provide those answers, because people don't know what's in the GPS. All those questions, can I just get angry and, you know, answer them and say, how dare you? No, absolutely not. She is justified in asking any question she wants to ask. And alhamdulillah, I did provide 3 of the answers. I didn't have time for the 4th. Otherwise, my wife would have kicked me out of the house. Okay.
Are you going to let us know the answers for these 4 questions?
Inshallah, but we don't have time today, but we will, inshallah. I promise. Okay, maybe next week if we can take a break to talk about those answers. Okay, but the thing is, the lady who asked, her name was Patricia. She's not a Muslim. She asked those questions. It means that she reads the Quran, but not the proper translation of the Quran. But I know, see, my dear sister, I've known her for the longest time, and by the way, she asks not because she doesn't know the answer. I know you are asking because you want everybody to know the answers, but how many Muslims know these answers? How many? How many Muslims know what's in our GPS? Barely. Barely. And that's what hurts. That's what hurts. You see, now GPS is becoming not a feature. It's a regular feature of any car now. You buy it, there is GPS in it, okay? And everybody uses it. Now, even if you know the place, at least you use it because you want to know how many kilometers you still have to get to your destination. And it shows you, you know, you use it. I don't know very many people who have GPS and don't use it. But I know a lot who have this GPS and don't use it. And the question is why? And I ask the question, why? We really need to get to know what's in here, to get to know our Islam, and not to know our Islam from the wrong source. By the way, there are many people who have dishonored Islam and Muslims. by so many unacceptable behaviors. You know, I didn't know as a child what extremism means. Today, ask any child, they'll tell you an extremist is, I didn't know what a fanatic means because I didn't experience them when I was young, okay? So many things entered our vocabulary, we did not know what they meant. So next week, inshallah, I want you to think about one thing that comes to your mind about what does it entail to be a Muslim? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you? I would like somebody to say something related to this, you know, because I am starting to feel that this is becoming a monologue. I don't like that. I like us to say something. Assalamu alaikum.
With regard to this, I just like to add on, like,
Yes, please.
when it comes to raising the kids, young kids, and I'm guilty of that too. The way we are being tuned and when the way we were raised, we stress more on the kids. Did you do your salat? Do it salat on time. And we've been told this Quran, when you read, you get this much ajr. We have never been told use Quran to get akal instead of getting the ajr. So if we
Aql meaning, you know, intellectually
mature, get more knowledge, that will make you wise, better Muslim, better human being. It's being, oh, you read Alif Lam Mim, you get 30 Hasana and all. So I think,
You know, can I tell you something, okay? Because you and your wife I can speak openly with, okay? Now this, if you read Alif, you get so many Hasana. If you read this, this is for you and me.
yeah.
I will never come to Saleh and say, Saleh, you know, I want to read the Quran because if you read Alif, you will get 100 Hasanat. You look at me and say, well,
Yeah.
well what are you talking about?
But that's what we do. That's
But
what we tell them.
this is wrong.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That
This
we-
is
we
wrong.
raise- we are
You know, the
raising kids in
problem,
proper
the
way.
problem is, you know, have you ever heard of Shakespeare being taught in grade 1?
That's true.
Nobody teaches Shakespeare, you know, or I'm going to read Hamlet as a bedtime story for my child. Would you like me to read you Hamlet? No, you don't know what. No, you know what Hamlet is?
No, I'd rather not.
He said, I'd rather not know.
No.
Beautiful, beautiful. You know, I'm not going to give you one because I really want to, we don't have time and I need to give these away. So I'm going to ask a question. Who wants to go and have a free pop? You want to go? Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. Come here. What's the capital of Yukon? He said White Horse. Or Yellowknife.
No, he said-
No, is it White Horse or is it Yellowknife? Who says White Horse? Who says Yellowknife? But you know, for trying,
Oh, he should, yeah. Allah.
Wait. 8 weeks. Don't even try. What?
I answered your question.
But it doesn't matter. For 8 weeks. You know what? You know what?
She's so cute.
But I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question. Are you ready? Are you good in math? Maybe. You know, this is the way out of maybe.
I know someone good in math.
Are you good in math? You're sure? What's the square root of 9? Allahu Akbar. Take this. MashaAllah. Give it back to me. I have another question for you.
That was
What's
easy
the
one.
square root of 16?
Look at him.
Yes.
No.
I said, what's the square root of 9? You said 3. What's the square root of 16? You should say?
8.
No.
I know. 4.
Yes. And what's the square root of 25? Keep going. So you said 3, 4. Now what's the square root of 25? You should say, I'll give you one more check. You said 5. And what's the square root of 36? That's it. That's it. Now. Who wants to answer? If you don't know the... Okay, because I said you have to. You have to. Okay. What's the very important event in Islamic history that... I didn't. She said Eid. What's the very important event in Islamic history that happened on February 30th, 652? Quickly, and you take it. Very important event that happened on February 30th, 652. No cheating. No cheating. No cheating. Get out of here. You want to have it? Can you repeat my... If you repeat my question, you will get it. No, what? You can't even repeat the question? So say it. What's... On February what? On February what? I didn't say 6. I said on February 30th. 652. Okay. Okay. Now on February 30th. Right? On February what? On February what? February 30th.
No, there is no
Are you sure?
30th in February.
So what's that thing that happened on February 30th?
Nothing.
Is there such a thing as February 30th?
No.
That's why you should say nothing. Shall I give it to her?
Yeah.
It's because of you.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. You know why?
There's no February 30th.
Those, yes. Can I ask that question? What's 1 plus 1? 2. No, you know, now, I'm going to ask a question to an adult. And if that adult doesn't know the answer, you get the coupon. So make dua, say, Ya Allah, Ya Rab, Ya Rab, that person doesn't answer. You choose your adult. You choose the adult and I ask the question. Your mom? Your mom?
Indirectly, he will get that stick.
What if she knows the answer?
Then she got the...
Very smart. So if she knows the answer, see what no, you have to get somebody else. Huh? No. No. No.
Ask the question.
Someone else.
Ask the question.
No, but if she doesn't know, he will get it. If she knows, she will get it and she will pass it.
He should be a politician.
Yes. You know what? I'll ask a question. Okay? Because I want to give it to you. And the question is, what surah of the Quran does not start with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim? And what surah has 2 Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahims? Surah Tawbah does not start with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And Surah An-Naml starts with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And inside it, so happy.
He was saying all is well.
Shall I give her or shall I give it to you?
Give it to me.
And this last one, you've been so good listening to me all the time. So I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. What's the first surah in the Quran? وإياكم. Okay, inshallah, with this, I hope that next week the weather will be better and you will be able to bring, those people you invite for a very exciting session, because next week I will have more variety and we will be talking, inshallah, about certain aspects of what does it mean to be a Muslim. How can we correct our pathway? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر صدق الله العظيم.